Get in! We're going to Canada! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Junkyard Digs. Today we just bought this 1993 Dodge van. We're gonna paint it like the Possum van and then drive 950 miles to meet Uncle Red himself in Canada. How could this possibly go wrong?
Where do you want me to start?
So if you guys are from the north half of the U.S., there's a good chance you've heard of the Red Green show. For context, if you're from the south and you haven't heard of the show, we took to this like you guys took to the Dukes of Hazzard. Personally, I was only ever allowed to stay up past my 8 p.m. bedtime growing up as a child on Saturday nights because on IPTV, Red Green was on. Me, Mom, Dad, if he was off work, would all pile around the TV and watch a couple episodes of the funny Canadians do all their shenanigans with duct tape up north. Now, with that being said, the Red Green show, the cast, Uncle Red himself, has been a huge influence to me my whole life. Growing up, I always thought they were hilarious and wanted to build the creations and stuff they did on Handyman Corner. And as an adult, I've still successfully lived my life saying that if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. And to go alongside that, I've always wanted to make the Possum van. So as far as the vehicular aspect of this wild, ambitious project goes, we have, like mentioned a couple times now, a 93 Dodge 1-ton with a 360 and an automatic transmission. This sucker's got 95,000 miles on it. Not bad. We paid a whopping $846 for it. It came from actually a buddy of Dalton's who bought it on auction somewhere and listed it up for sale. Supposedly the back brakes have been fixed. Supposedly it runs and drives somewhat decent. We don't know. There's only one way to find out and 950 miles to go. One thing's for sure, for 93, this sure feels like 1983. Nice. I think that door hinge just broke off. But that's okay, because we have the handyman's secret weapon, ducting. Cul-de-sac here. It runs. Brake pedal feels a little soft. Turning radius is much. Ooh, yeah, brake pedal feels big soft. I don't think the rears are doing anything. Oh, dude. She's good. She's got the power. Oh, hell yeah. Is that the roof?
I hear the roof is awful.
A lot of room for activities. Alright, well, it survived a single lap around the block. You think it'll make it, like, what is it, 90 miles home?
Absolutely.
We got duct tape. What can go wrong? This is going to be a multi-stage video. Stage 1 is make it home with this completely condition unknown van that came off an auction that came from a school that's been parked for 5 years. Stage 2, turn this into the Possum van and prepare it for a trip with our friends to Canada. And Stage 3, a trip with our friends to Canada to meet Uncle Red himself. Hopefully. We don't know. But man, I sure hope to. I wanted to meet him my whole life. Okay, actually step 0.5 gas station. Oh man, it's just like the other van. The mirror is missing. And that one's broke off and, well, I got one. Although this one has a radio. Oh, damn it, are you serious? What? Alright, 75 gallons later, that ought to get us home. Oh shit, look at this. She's not even due for oil until 5,600 miles ago. Well, you know what, as they say, if it ain't broke, you're not trying hard enough. Oh! She's got cruise. Wait, does the... Damn it. The relay works, but that's it. And now me with much less grace. But, way more duct tape. Oh, shit! And now way less tea. Damn it! I guess this is technically Possum Lake now. That's fun, that'll be nice and sticky. Thanks, inertia. Jesus Christ! The steering is super loose and I am all over the place. The vicious Iowa crosswind is not helping my case of doing speed. This thing drives down the road like Moose Thompson in a bathtub. The steering wheel is like GM levels of sticky. I might have to put some of the handyman's secret weapon on there to give myself a much better grip surface. So much like the van, these tires are very flat-spotted and very bouncy. But unlike the van, the one we got in Texas, this van is rusty, which means the whole top goes like this, because it's a unibody, or at least it used to be. Also, this huge gap in the door is a lot of fun. It's very loud. The roof makes a ton of noise, and I think that's because the body is flexing, pulling on the steel, and making it go bong, bong, bong up and down as it's compressed and stretched. The atrocious wind is horrible. I'm all over the road, and I only have one mirror, which is not pointing at all in the right direction. So in other words, this is perfect. This is going to make the most accurate possum van ever. The Canadian lords have provided for me. This roll of toilet paper just rolled up from under the seat. I can use that to drain Possum Lake. Alright, do your thing. Alright, the good news is Possum Lake has been drained. The bad news is that we're going to have to call Winston Rothschild Septic Sucking Services because got a big old sticky roll of wet toilet paper right here now. Oh God! Got a little work to do to the van before we drive north, or it's gonna be a hellacious trip. Alright, well my math sucks. We've done 100 miles. As you can tell, it's way, way quieter in here. And that would be because I've turned off the highway and am now traveling with the wind. Only a few miles from home, it's still shaking and making as much noise as it did in the beginning. There's none that are particularly new. So I think this will be just fine. Let's get her home and make a plan for turning it into the Possum van. Haha, I'm a van, but I can change if I have to, I guess. Extinguishers to do a burnout. Well, there we go. Stage 1 is complete. We've made it home. Time for stage 2. Turn this into the Possum van. Alrighty. As is tradition, it's been a few months since we've been around the van, and our goals have changed a little bit. Instead of going all the way to Canada with passports and all that, we're doing this a lot easier. We're going to Canadian Fest in Kalamazoo, Michigan, which is in 4 days. So we still have a lot of mechanical work to do to this van, and if you'll notice, it's still just the Dodge school van, not yet the Possum van. Funny enough, this thing has been very useful all summer. We've used it to haul a bunch of stuff and store a bunch of stuff. As you can see, I have pretty much an entire dealership's worth of old Chevy parts and car manuals in here. So step 1 is clean all this out, find a home for it, and then we can start working on the van. Ready to begin. Quick trip to Ames. I've got the supplies to turn this into the Possum van. Angus has been busy doing some inspections and stuff. What have we found?
It's bad.
Oh, good. So it's on par for the Possum van.
Yeah, that's exactly what we expected.
That's the easiest part, is it was like thrown together with paint and a sponge in like 15 minutes, and it was a rusty hunk of crap.
Yeah.
Pretty easy to make a replica. What we got?
Well, I went through the front end, greased all the joints, found that our idler arm completely loose. It just kind of flops around, and therefore our entire front suspension flops around.
Oh yeah, that's not supposed to do that, huh?
Yeah, generally speaking, we don't like that.
What else we got?
Aside from only having one new caliper on the front end.
Wait, wasn't this supposed to have received new...
I don't want to talk about it.
What did he say? He said he put new back brakes on?
He put new calipers on the rear.
This is a drum van.
Listen, I'm not the one who said it.
Which, and if I remember correctly, from when we put tires on a few months ago, yeah, those are absolutely factory lines and factory wheel cylinders on the rear. But there's one new front caliper. Yep, that one's totally factory for sure. And this one is new. Look at that. All right, well, 1 out of 4 ain't bad. The hoses are still old, so that's... I mean, you know what? Possum fan probably didn't have brakes anyway. What else we got?
Well, our rear springs aren't really attached to much anymore.
I'm sorry, what?
The rear part of the rear spring specifically is kind of just riding on the floor.
Oh, yeah, that's supposed to be attached. That would be the weird lump in the floor I felt earlier.
Oh.
How's this one?
It is cancer.
Oh, what? Holy shit, dude.
Wow, they're broken in different ways. That's fun. So that's our spring.
Wow.
Okay, so we learned 2 things. 1, our spring hanger, bad. 2, our floors, not that good either.
And the roof's falling down now.
That seems normal.
I thought it sounded weird when I hit those train tracks on the way to town. While we're in here, actually, Angus had a good point. He said he thinks he figured out why it's so hot on the driver's side. There's no floor. It's just a piece of sheet metal, and there's no heat shield or anything. So we might have to do something about that.
Yeah, the other side has a nice little piece of aluminized steel that kind of goes up and around where the doghouse sits on the floor. It kind of guards that from the manifold that's right next to your foot.
It is like a heater on full twice when you're driving. Okay, so there's some mechanical stuff to deal with for sure.
We got a few things to do.
Should we start with the most important stuff?
The paint?
The paint. All right, time for the big stuff. This is what it all comes down to. What we need to do is get in here with some Scotch-Brite, some sandpaper, knock all the clear off, and then scuff up all the other surfaces. Like so, doesn't take much. Just get that abrasive so that when we roll our new paint on, it sticks. I hardly know what I'm doing right now, but it doesn't matter, because remember, if the women don't find it handsome, they should at least find it handy. How's it going, lead technician Goose? Oh, yes, yeah. Well, have you tried with the, the thing, the one we talked about? Yeah. That didn't work? Oh. Dumb. Oh, hello. Good morning, folks. You join us this morning as we are getting ready to turn this anonymous Dodge van into the iconic Possum van. Now, I'm assuming, as is tradition, they wouldn't have had HVLP guns up at Possum Lake. Dalton Humphrey's hardware store probably didn't carry such an expensive item, but they probably did have some paint rollers and primer. And that is exactly what we're going to be using to turn this van into the Possum van. We might be here a while.
It's a big van. You should have got a stomach van.
There was actually, hilariously, a few Possum vans. In my research to figure out what colors we needed and like how they painted it and make it look as authentic as possible, I did discover that one of the Possum vans for a little bit was just a regular length Dodge van. But the iconic one, the one I think they used the most that had the highest definition Possum paint job on it, wasn't all beat to shit. That one was a super length like this, but no windows. So of course that means we're going to have to paint over the windows so that you can't tell there's windows. All right, you know what they say, if all else fails, play dead. All right, there we go. The van is looking more and more like the Possum van. Now it is the correct color, primer gray. Now our next step is the most crucial part, painting the Possum. We need to actually put some blue and other stuff into it, but we need to figure out where our Possum is going to land so that we can determine what needs to be blue and what needs to be black. Now there's a few versions of the Possum van, but this is the one we're doing. This is the what I call the high definition one. This one was what got used in the later episodes, and therefore most of the episodes it is well painted. There's no rust, really, no missing patches or numbers peeking through like some of the other older ones, and therefore this is going to be the easiest one to replicate because we don't have to replicate where, we just paint it. Also, funny enough, I did just discover that this, I believe, oh wow, damn it. This is, I think, the Possum van from the Duct Tape movie, and it is, interestingly enough, a Dodge van with windows and a Possum 1 license plate. All right, now let's draw ourselves a front leg here. Starts about there. Right about like that. Yeah, right about there. We're probably putting way more effort into this than they ever did making these vans. This is the easiest movie vehicle to make. You get a rusty piece of shit Dodge, paint it with a brush, it's perfectly accurate.
You know, I bet they had a possum on hand that they could just reference.
Oh, damn, why didn't we think of that? Alright, there's that. I'm not gonna lie, this is a lot harder than it looks. Especially trying to get the stripes to like match theirs. I don't know how they painted that thing. The best I can do is grab a sponge and wiggle it around and it kind of makes the same rough marks. Yeah, there's our ear, the front legs. We gotta put the blue in here. I will keep up with this and we'll be back soon.
Nobody look up here.
It's starting to look like the Possum van. Look at this. I've got all the black done, the Possum's drawn out. Mook's back here putting our dark blue on under his butt.
Don't be weird about it.
We got Angus doing our blue on the roof. We gotta do a little blue on the bottom here. Paint the teeth onto the freshly spray painted bumper. And then this should be pretty much done. This is crazy. This looks like the Possum van. I never thought I'd see it
Good.
in person.
I'm glad. That's what we were going for.
I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of weird to start the day with a shitty old Dodge van that's really ugly, and then you end the day standing in front of a vehicle from your favorite show as a child. That's the Possum van. Holy shit, we did it. Although there is one last thing we need to do, and that is this right here. Unfortunately, someone already took Possum, so I had to go with Opossum, which is why earlier it was funny that Possum 1 was the plate that was on the van that was in the Duct Tape Forever movie, because that was available, and I could have gotten that, but I didn't think that was as good. Regardless, what we have here are some Iowa Hawkeye plates with some electrical tape on them, so that they're just yellow Iowa plates. I don't think it's illegal to tape over the Hawkeye on a Hawkeye plate, but we'll find out. I don't think the state's gonna get mad at me, just the fans. And screw those guys, they're Hawkeye fans anyway. Holy shit, look at that. It's the Possum van. Oh my god, I love it. With that, we'll be back tomorrow to work on the mechanical stuff so that we can make the 400 something mile drive all the way to Kalamazoo, Michigan. Yeah, I think every old van should be painted like the Possum van. Good morning, Angus.
Is it a good morning?
It's
the
one-
fun part's over. It's going to look really good sitting on the side of the road, upside down and on fire.
That's what the next parts of the video are for. That's what we're here to fix. Starting with, we had a bit of wiggle in this wheel when we lifted it up. So we pulled them apart and gave our wheel bearing a turn. Sure enough, it was loose. But in doing so, we realized, wow, there's not really any grease in that thing. I've never seen grease like this rock hard. We're going to start with greasing these wheel bearings because these are atrocious and terrifying. And then we will move on to
Anything else that's atrocious and terrifying.
yeah, which is our giantly loose steering link, missing
Shackle
hangers, and the 3 missing lug studs. I mean, we still have 5. It's enough for a half ton. It's
Yeah,
still-
but the fact that they're not evenly spaced is an issue.
it is annoying that it's 4 and 1. We put tires on this. Well, we had the neighbors put tires on this.
And they didn't say
They did.
anything.
That they did, and I didn't know
Well, they
or
were
care.
kind of hemming and hawing about the ball joints that scream, and this thing's a death trap. Big disc. Ugh. Big heavy. We might be able to save that seal.
I bet you that's OEM.
But you're right.
96,000 miles. Pretty low mile van for being so bad.
Which means the factory did this grease.
Actually, that's not surprising. I think Mopar has a long known history with under-greasing everything.
Yeah.
Well, since we're this far, we decided to put these on the old bend pack brake lay and turn them down because they are not great. Like, there's a ridge right there, like the Grand Canyon. It doesn't even stop your fingernail, it stops your finger. It'd stop a shoe.
It stopped the van.
It'd stop a possum. I thought for sure this would be those thin bits of sheet metal they're supposed to spin around and hit the frame and be a nut retainer. But I think they're legitimate nuts up in there because this is actually unbolting. Look at that. It actually unbolted. And there's actually still pretty good amount of steel right there. I don't think we're gonna have to brace this up at all. We can just bolt the new ones on.
Nice.
Hell yes, that makes this so much easier. Well, for the first time ever in my life, everything's unbolting pretty easy. This one's a little hard to get to, but thanks to the rust holes, nothing's hard to get to. Gotta love it. This is all part of the old shackle hanger. This is all that's left of what was supposed to support or connect to that piece I took off earlier. That is ridiculous. So for those in the South that don't quite understand how terrible rust is, this right here and this is the same piece. This triangle is the center piece of steel, and the welds on the side rusted away to nothing, where all of this is missing. And speaking of those people from the South, we've been posting pictures of the Possum van as we go on our Instagram, which you should go follow, by the way. There's a few sneak peeks here and there ahead of when stuff comes out on YouTube, but I've seen a lot of comments on Instagram of people thinking that we were making the van again and not the Possum van, and it actually kind of made me realize just how exclusively northern the Red Green Show is. So if you guys are from there, go check out their YouTube channel. The Red Green Official has a YouTube channel of all the episodes of Red Green here on YouTube, and go get caught up on what we grew up with. It's fantastic. Progress update. Surprisingly, this came apart with, I'd say, relative ease. I got our inner bushing, our two outer bushings, our splined lower bolt, and of course the top one. Everything came apart, didn't even gallop the threads. Honestly, it was made easy mostly due to the fact that this was so rusty, I could just peel it apart and take all the bushings out. Which is good, because our new hanger from O'Reilly's comes with nothing in it. And I mean nothing. Except for, you know, new bolts, thank God. Okay, van has new shackle hangers. That was actually way easier than I was anticipating. Will they maybe rip the entire frame off next time we put weight in it? Potentially. Sweet, on to the front. That took out half of the day I thought we were gonna spend on that. Oh yes, very nice. That came out great.
Yeah, looks great.
While Angus is dealing with that, I'm removing our worn out steering McGee thing here, our idler arm. There we go. Go ahead and get him separated from this center link and get a new one in. There we go, got her out. She's pretty worn out. There's some slop down here, and also, as you can tell, not very happy on this end. Out with the old, in with the new. Our rotors are all cleaned up, good to go. Look at this. This was the grease that was in these. It's rock hard, like break apart into bits. I don't know how we made it from Cedar Rapids to here. And I'm really glad that Angus checked the wheel bearing tension and decided, hey, this is a little loose, and I'm really glad we decided to take these apart, because we definitely would not have made it to Michigan. Now, to do this the right way, we're going to take a big old pile of grease into this cleaned hub, and we're going to smear it around inside and pack a bunch of grease in there. Grease is cheap, wheel bearings and spindles, not so cheap. And just like that, we're good to go. At this point, I will clean the brake surface itself. Because believe it or not, brakes and grease, they don't work well together. Okay, so now that most of our mechanical's done, we got our brakes and everything wrapped up here. They're all looking fantastic, should be smooth and work pretty damn well. It is time to move on to the things that are annoying about the van and fix some crucial elements, like the fact that it's super dirty inside and the fact that there's a huge hole above me in the floor that lets all of the hot air from the exhaust straight onto your ankle. As you can probably see, a bit of daylight sticking through right there, and that is the exhaust manifold, and this is what's left of the floor. It's completely rusted away, so there's no structure left to seal it up to the doghouse. Now, being high temperature, that's not exactly a job for the handyman's secret weapon, duct tape, but it is a pretty good use for the handyman's favorite heat shield, tinfoil. Just gonna take some of this, roll it up, maybe even double it up. This is rusting my everything. Stuff it into that hole. Hopefully. Enough of that should make a difference here eventually. If there's any van left to stick it in. I've reinforced our tinfoil heat shield with a little bit of the Junkyard Digs classic universal patch panel. If nothing else, that'll keep the heat coming out back here, away from my ankle, which sits here. So hopefully that'll fix that problem. Angus is back here vacuuming out the back of the van. Wow, look at our hump from the wow. Here, hang on one sec. Here you go. Body hammer.
Ah, naturally.
With that done and him working on that, there is one last modification to be done for creature comfort stuff. And that is just like the original The Van from our channel, which I know I've referenced the shirt already once before, but if you're not familiar, that's a episode where Dalton, Pole Barn Garage, and I bought pretty much this exact same van, but one generation newer, and drove it from San Antonio all the way to Phoenix, Arizona in one shot with no title through the border checkpoints. And that was a pretty damn good episode. You can check that out on the channel. I'll put a link up here or down in the description. Either way, we're going to rinse and repeat what we did on that one and get ourselves one of these stick-on mirror repair kits and a steering wheel cover. This time, not bedazzled. Alright, there's our mirror. Put that on there. We'll use a little bit of the handyman's secret weapon, duct tape. There we go. Good as new. Maybe even better. How did we do? Ooh. This is even worse than last time. Alright, so our oil just showed up. Angus is handling the oil change. The only things left beyond that are to put new headlights in it because they both blew up. And, well, the door hinge. And then we're pretty much done. With that being said, I'm taking some extra time to make other things and stuff work. Because why not? Interestingly enough, the AC pump does turn. Trying to get any life out of the HVAC system. I've got no power to the back of the panel. Nothing happens there. And I have no power to the actual fuse block either. So whatever's supposed to be feeding our HVAC somewhere else is dead. Okay, well, I'm tracking down the wiring issue still for our lack of power to the HVAC fuse. Unfortunately, these vans are made out of Chrysler, which means the electrical sucks. But fortunately, these vans are made out of Chrysler, which means in 2 screws you can have the fuse box off and verify that this big green bastard is the fusible link wire that runs, hopefully powered to the back of that 30 amp from the looks of it. And then runs down here and through the firewall, which is weird. So I came and looked at it over here. And I was like, oh yeah, there he is, right there. And he runs to, there's this big hole that looks like an air cleaner or something would go there, or I don't know, maybe a blower motor. It's gone.
That does kind of explain a lot.
I guess. I still don't exactly know why there's no power, but even if we did get power, I know why it won't work. Alright, it's been a little bit. I've had this whole entire dash apart. Thankfully, once again, a Dodge. So, like, 5 screws and the entire cluster and everything comes out. No problemo. So far, all I've determined is there's a huge relay over there with a green wire that runs the blower motor and whatnot. I think it actually potentially runs through the relay and then the fuse, which is weird, but it's a Dodge, so whatever. But that pink and black wire coming off of it runs to a second relay right here, which is fed by a brown one. And that one's also fed by a brown wire to signal the relays. Neither of them are getting power. Like, there's power to this one, but the signal wire is not turning this on, thus allowing power to go to that one to turn that one on. It's this chain of relays. It's stupid. It's just dumb. Angus is up front putting headlights in.
Yes, with random hardware. Plastic retainers for the headlight adjusters. Obliterated. They're dead.
Yep, as is tradition. He's roughing them into place to where they're, mostly pointed forward, which is mostly the direction we'll be driving, so it works out. New headlights are in and operable. I've got the dash back together. One last step underneath the hood. Angus is taking the hose clamps off for the hoses that run to the back heater. We noticed when we were underneath earlier that those are super rusty and look like they're going to explode at any second. We don't want to deal with that. Just going to loop those back to each other and that should be good to go. Yep. Then we can push this thing out, pull the welder out, weld the door, and call it done. All right, one last step. Looks good to me.
Oh yeah, that'll be good.
Look at that. All right, well, I'd say we're ready for a road trip. How about you?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Let's go to Michigan. All right, got our stuff all loaded up. One last thing before we leave this morning. We need ourselves a mirror. I have this one left over from a Grand Prix. It's missing the foot though. So we're gonna use none other than the handyman secret weapon. Right about there, eh? There we go. That works fantastic. Bye, Mook.
Bye.
Ready?
I guess.
Let's do it. Activate Possum.
Rose rod.
Don't even say that. It's a Dodge, you're tempting fate. 463 miles to go. Odometer reads 96,298. Let's do it. Well, that's one way to start a road trip.
I guess I don't get to see this morning.
No. Oh, that was scary. Okay, don't go to high or low on the wipers. This is all we get. Oh, god damn it. Dude, it's falling apart.
Something's trying to tell us something.
Yeah, look at this, dude. We're doing it. We're driving the Possum van.
We're a possum.
We're driving the Possum van across the country.
And the heavens shine down upon us.
That's a possum.
Yes.
Yes. All right, 450 miles to go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Interstate 80. Woohoo! We will stay on this until the end of time. First thing I'm noticing, everyone looks at us weird. Don't know why. It's kind of hard to remember that we're in a possum van because inside it's still just, you know, the red van. Everything's just as it was for us. We checked when we were stopped earlier. The plastic bushings were made of, you know, Chrysler plastic, so they fell out, and now the windshield wipers do whatever they want, especially if a semi passes us, they just kind of fly all over. That's fun. We've added more tin foil to the heat shield to really seal that up, and it seems to be working. Down hills, as we are right now, there's a really good from the driveline, like U-joints. It's only on D-cell.
Yep.
So we know that throwout, or that tail shaft bushing is pretty loose. Any other ideas?
It could be that it's a 90s Dodge van.
True. There's also, on light acceleration, a bit of a misfire stumble. So I think at some point we'll get some fuel injector cleaner, and if we pass our O'Reilly's, we'll probably get a fuel filter as well to have with us.
Yeah, that's a good call.
I mean, this thing's at 96,335 miles now, so I'm sure the school maintained it really well.
I'm positive they did. I've been to the area where this bus thing came from, and it's really good.
Where was it again?
Mount Pleasant, Iowa.
Oh, yeah.
So like Hancock,
Yeah.
North Missouri.
Where no one lives.
Yeah.
That's about our first 100 miles done. You know what we say, if it'll drive 100, it'll drive 1,000. What? I don't know. Alrighty, we've made it to the west side of Davenport.
Yes.
We're trekking through here right now, searching for an O'Reilly's for an extra fuel filter in case we have any troubles. And I think we'll be back on the road. There's a sign that we just passed that said rabbits for sale.
We got plenty of room. We should grab some. Look at this Winnebago coming up on us. Look at that thing. Look at that thing. Damn, boy.
That's badass.
Oh, look. It's the thing from my nightmares.
What in the world?
Oh, it's a dragon.
I've never been to this part of Davenport, despite drilling here for like 4 years in the Army. I guess the flashbacks. The
You'll be
flashbacks.
fine. Do you need me to drive while you have your crisis?
Alright, got ourselves a spare fuel filter. I just noticed this is a little looser than I remember it.
Oh, it's our Pittman arm. Cool.
Is it like normal loose or like
It's like,
scary
it
loose?
moves quite a bit.
Like 97 F-150 bad?
No, not quite that bad.
I think we're gonna do a little sightseeing while we're in Davenport, somewhere I haven't been in years.
You're not taking me to the local lookout, are you?
No, we're what? Much worse, the Army. You're getting deployed. Oh boy, it's been years since I've seen these. Oh, it looks like they're spooling one up too, maybe. We might be in for a show. Ladies and gentlemen, formerly 2nd to 11th, my old hangar and my old unit. Let's go look at some helicopters. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I missed that. Smell the JP8? Good shit. You ever thinking about joining the Guard? Go aviation. Right, you know? Aviation. Aviation. They take better care of you because you're supposed to be smarter. Because you are. You're the one that makes this happen. That's an 8,500 pound block just floating in the air, dead steady. And that's tiny. That aircraft, including its own weight, can carry 50,000 pounds, which is, you know, itself.
Think they could give us a ride?
If we break down, I think we know who to call. All right, check that off the list. Finally stopped in, have my old unit, and said hi. If you guys are interested in joining any of the military branches, I highly suggest you go aviation because you're supposed to be a smarter breed and you get better taken care of by the people in your unit. These guys here, not a normal group of militants. These guys all have like college degrees and shit. They're all brilliant. But they do let us into it, so I mean, there's that to take into account.
Yeah, that gate opened really fast.
They just saw the ID, not the van.
Aha!
Speaking of, it's time we climb back into the van and make some more progress to Kalamazoo. I have no idea how far away we are.
We'll have to stop soon. I'm almost out of corn nuts.
314 miles, 5 hours left.
Oh, that's it?
Welcome to Illinois. Whoa. Oh boy. Welcome to Chicago. My favorite place to drive. Our odometer has just passed 96,609 and we have 169 miles remaining. Van's still running fantastic. The roof is still loud as hell. It's still painted like a possum and terrifying to drive. Holy budget van. This must be the Port Asbestos Mines. Man, I really wish I had a real mirror for all of this traffic. This sucks. Hey, look it!
Holy hell!
I don't think we're there, are we?
Well, I mean, that sure is a sign.
Sure, why not? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to maybe Indiana. We don't know. Oh no, yeah, welcome to Indiana. Son of a bitch, we did it. Alright, we have 136 miles to go. 2 hours on the nose. Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Michigan! Woohoo!
I've never been here before.
Really?
Yeah.
There's not much to see. It's just like Iowa and Ohio, but they got a big lake, a cool bit of sand dunes, and Detroit.
And a lighthouse.
And they probably got a few of them, I imagine. Alright, well, our headlights are aimed, I suppose. I don't know if they're on the ground or what, but they're over there. That's all that matters. Our odometer's past 96,700, and we have less than an hour remaining. Let's knock this drive out. We'll see you when we get there. My God, ladies and gentlemen, we've done it. The Possum van has driven all the way to near Kalamazoo. We're actually a little further than. We're staying at a buddy of mine who I job shadowed in high school years ago. He's a good car guy, taught me how to pull engines out of shit. Long story short, we're here, and I'm not going to get too specific where here is, but I will say we are dangerously close to Climax.
I hate that.
Michigan. Climax,
Really?
Michigan. There it is. The Possum van. Okay. Bedtime?
Bedtime.
Have a beer about it first?
You talked me into it.
Alright. We'll see you guys in the morning. Alright, quick stop before we start all the stuff for Canadiana Fest. Holy shit, that's an SR-71. Okay, I knew the SR-71 was big, but it's huge. It makes that Chinook look small, like tiny. There's a football field between us and the back of it. Good Lord. This thing is so big. Here's the cockpit for reference. It's not even a good reference. Here's like my hand on this little piece. There's the rest of the aircraft. That's, I don't know what, 30 feet across? Also, Tomcat, way bigger than I thought. It's like the size of a Chinook. Ooh, here's a good bit of automotive history that you may actually already know. The AG330 SR-71 starter cart is powered by two 425 nail heads. These are straight out of Buick cars. And for a while there, it was really hard to find replacement motors for a Buick because these would often get engaged for too long on startup and they would overspool and blow these to pieces. So the Air Force was buying up pretty much every single nail head they could get their hands on. Now these ones in particular appear to, you know, maybe still be in one piece. It's, oh, actually it won't be that hard to say. I've talked to the guys at the Air Zoo a little bit before and asked if we could do a fire up on these, and they said no. I mean, it does have more recent wires and stuff on it, so I think they've had them running before. That would be cool. Come on. This is convenient. Look who we found.
Ewan.
Ewan?
Ewan with the Air Zoo.
Probably seen him on TikTok. He's another great reason to come here because he knows a lot of things and stuff, such as different stuff about shockwave length and this induction cone.
Oh, I know barely enough about that, but we'll have some stuff on the Air Zoo YouTube and TikTok soon about that from people who actually did work on this aircraft.
Yeah,
they're
they've
smarter than me.
You've interviewed guys with SR-71s and all sorts of
Yeah,
stuff.
we've interviewed pilots, maintainers, engineers, the whole lot about this incredible aircraft. And every single time, there's something new to learn.
Where can people find that? YouTube.com/air.
Airzoo, something like that.
Yeah, one of them. We'll put it.
TikTok,
We'll put a
we'll go
link in the
whatever.
description.
There you go.
Yeah, TikTok as well.
Yeah,
Wild.
no, this whole thing would move in and out, and yeah, that's just to make sure that the shock wave was in the optimal position when feeding all the air into the engine. I'm not smart enough to understand it, but obviously it was used primarily as slow air. You can't have supersonic air coming into the engine, so this was just slowing all that air down and directing it into the best place possible.
Why are they silver?
Yeah, these are aluminum impregnated tires. SR-71, obviously when up flying, a lot of heat generated around the aircraft, especially right here on the skin. You know, we're talking about temperatures 500 degrees plus. So the tires were impregnated with aluminum to essentially reflect that heat away, to try and keep the tires nice and cool during flight.
I mean, they were
So
they were
don't
this far
explode.
from the skin.
Yeah, if you look inside here, you can see they've actually got a can. So they would go and they would sit in that can.
Oh, and it's got
And that can is
insulation.
to protect it from the heat and also to protect the aircraft in case one of these things does pop or explode.
So that's a burst can basically.
Yeah.
An insulated burst
Insulate, protects, it
can.
does
Scatter
everything.
shield.
And then yeah, you got these tires here. And these were good for, I think, between 15 and 20 landings, depending on the quality of landing. Obviously,
So down to
That's
one
selling.
potentially. I love that they made the hose like a hydraulic hose. They've bent it so that it's a spring and that it can fold instead of that swivel. That's super weird. I didn't know you could do that.
I've never
Angus,
noticed
remember that.
Noted.
We'll do that on brakes
Yeah,
or
you're
something.
going-
I don't know.
Why would we need that?
No clue.
Oh, we always run into problems with brake hoses. Well, why don't we just make a brake spring?
Great. It's brilliant. There is so much going on. Oh my gosh. This is so damn cool. Kalamazoo. Come check out the Air Zoo. This is fantastic. And if you can't, if you're a ways away, you want to learn little cool knick-knack things that they can show you because they have a lot of them on hand, you and with the Air Zoo can do that. Again, they're TikTok and YouTube. Beyond airplanes, they have typical cool World War II stuff, to include a piece of the Juno, which is the only remaining piece of the ship that the Sullivan brothers were on, correct?
Yep.
From Waterloo.
From Waterloo.
Waterloo, Iowa.
Fire! It's fire.
They got all sorts of space stuff.
It's a weird looking airplane.
And a mini Chinook. So another really cool thing they do here is they restore airplanes from the ground up. I'm talking rivet by rivet. This is one that they pulled out of the lake. That's really neat to see. They also have a giant rocket engine. Here's something I learned. I did not know that jet engines were ever made by Buick. That's badass. Here's the other SR-71 motor. My God, these are large. Did you know? Actually, we forgot to mention this earlier. It's on the other side. This is a hydraulic computer. This is a computer that adjusts the fuel trim and everything on this SR-71 motor. And it uses hydraulics because those are the same pressure and operating temperatures and stuff at altitude as they are on the ground. And 1960, that's what they made. I actually know that only because I saw the TikTok about it from the Air Zoo. So again, go check them out. You'll learn stuff. All right, one last interesting piece. I think I just found the largest carburetor ever. Yeah, look at that. Looks just like a giant 2-barrel. It goes down in this plenum and it's got triple superchargers and makes 3,200 horsepower. The Wright R3350 turbo compound radial. That is nuts. All right, should we go back to doing possum van stuff?
Oh, I forgot that's why we were here.
Enough. Good morning, folks. You join us on the big day. Today's the day that we're driving the possum van up to the Gilmore Car Museum and then to Canadiana Fest. You ready for this?
Absolutely.
Dude, I'm so excited. Let's go do this. Wow, well, this sucks. It's a little foggy this morning. If we hit the brakes hard enough, I believe. We should.
Yes.
There we go. Some water off the roof. It all works together. You'll love to see it. All right, onward into the abyss. Oh, there's a whole stop section with a fire truck? What is that?
a tractor.
No, that's a semi.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. They have a laser! What is the laser for?
Target acquisition.
What is going on? What is that?
What is that?
I don't know, it's a hell of a day for a laser.
What the hell?
I have no idea. Alright, moving on. Angus figured it out. That was a road marking crew. There's cones on all the wet paint that they just put on. That makes sense. The laser was for alignment.
We always do this. We always have to figure out why things are.
Like, it doesn't change our lives at all, but we have to know.
Yeah, but it bothers us if we don't know.
Alright, Angus, do the thing.
I'm trying to go do the thing. This is a very nice event. Nobody knows why we're here.
Yeah, we got the Possum van posted up here, still trying to figure out what's going on. We walked in and asked the receptionist. We're like, hi, can I help you? I was like, yeah, we brought the Possum van. And she said, what? The what? So we're going to hang out and see what happens. I don't know. We'll go look at some cars at some point. There's some good stuff here. There's a Revival. Think we can get this thing to run? Turbine-powered Chrysler? Yeah, surely. I've never even heard of a Franklin, but a bunch of air-cooled cars. Weird. Looks like a Monte Carlo fan Stroud. Holy Model A's. Big Model A meetup here today. That's the most I've ever seen. And of course they have bikes. Ooh. 750 Cowie. Hello. That's pretty cool. Yeah, pretty good stuff here at the Gilmore Car Museum. Alright, I think it's time we head to the actual main event. Canada Fest. Or Canadiana. Wow, this is way better when you can see. Alright, we are done at the car museum and we are now heading to the main events. This is it. This is the reason we're here. Canadiana Fest. Let's go park the Possum van where hopefully we'll be among a group of people for the first time in this whole trip that recognize it and understand what it is. We've got a lot of weird looks so far. We pulled into that car show and the first guy went, what the hell? About 13 miles left to victory. Holy crap, dude, check it out. We've done it. It's Canadiana Fest. We've driven the Possum van 500 billion miles. I don't know, the odometer's at 96,813. And we have arrived. All right, let's go get this set up, meet some fans, hopefully meet Red Green, and figure out what this is about. Scotland forever.
I accidentally bought a non-alcoholic beer.
Now I'm going to break radio silence here and do some voiceover because we don't actually have a ton of footage of Canadian Fest. There was a number of fans that drove 2+ hours to come see us, so we wanted to spend time with them so it made their drive worth it. Canadian Fest was a lot of fun. We ate some good poutine, met some great fans, and to top the whole weekend off, I got to meet Rick Green. If you don't know, Rick was one of the co-producers of The Red Green Show, and he played Bill from the Adventures with Bill skits. He was an absolutely awesome dude with tons of stories about producing the show, and I was fortunate enough to interview him a little bit in the van during a concert.
Thank you, everyone. Rick Green, producer, and as known, Bill Smith, correct?
Yes, very good.
On,
Steve Smith plays Red Green, Rick Green plays Bill Smith, and both characters were created before we worked together. Mine was with a comedy troupe called The Frantics, and he came up with that with his first TV show called Red Green. He came up with one of the regular returning segments with his wife Morag, and it was just him out in the woods, standing there talking, and come in with a Jeep of some kind, or I don't know what it was, and did these awkward 4-point turns and smashed into a bunch of foliage and so on.
Does this take you back?
Yeah. Although I was rarely inside the van.
That's true.
But it's funny because when Steve got the van, it was painted blue, and he wanted to make it part of Possum Lodge. So he
Yep.
got out, went and bought some, I guess, flooring paint and a roller, and literally rolled it, and then went with a brush and outlined the possum on the side. It was the ugliest thing. And for the first year or two, whenever it went anywhere, people would be, oh my God. Once the show caught on, then everybody was like,
Because it was a local celebrity. I'm
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
They all knew where it was filmed. Or...
Yeah, exactly. But my stuff, The Adventures with Bill, was filmed up on the Niagara Escarpment at an apple farm run by this retired couple, and they were lovely. They loved to come out and watch the fun. There was one episode where I got set on fire, and they came along with the kids, their son and I think one or two of their sons, and some grandkids, and I think some friends of the grandkids, because Bill's going to get set on fire.
We gotta go see this.
Yeah, I'm 40 years old at that point out there, which is funny because then when Steve was touring, people said, "Where's the blonde guy?" And Steve couldn't figure out what they were talking. And they realized it's because it was black and white.
Yeah.
Nobody could believe anyone who had white hair was going to be doing stuff like that.
Yeah,
Right? My hair-
it was a very active scene the whole
Yeah,
time it was being
yeah.
filmed. So much energy in it too.
Yeah, exactly. And it was, but nobody was doing physical comedy anymore. It was a lost art because all the shows that were on, Bill Cosby and Seinfeld and Roseanne, and they were all stand-up comedians who stood there and talked.
Now I gotta ask, since we're a car channel, the cars on the handyman corners, the thing that's probably the thing the show's most known for, I would imagine.
Yeah, that and the
Lots of K cars, tons of K cars.
Well, the K cars were nice because we were sawing them in half and so on, and they had the engine and the drive was all up front. But after a while, like after 4 or 5 seasons, it was harder to get them because partly because at that point they weren't making. They'd been so long since they've been making them, they weren't running them.
They were all scrapped, and you guys weren't helping that.
No, exactly. And so the guys who owned the Terry's Garage, they would bring them, but they had a network now of junkyards and dealers and so on, and so they could always get hold of them. They were cheap to get.
Were a lot of these actually somewhat functional, or just enough for the
some
camera?
were. There's one K car where he welds on rubber boots on metal pipes onto the hub wheel, and then it walks away.
I forgot about that.
And it was based on my brother, when he was a kid, got a Major Mason moonwalker that had these 4 legs, and it would walk along. It was the clumsiest looking thing. I think we went to lunch, and when we came back, they cut off the metal.
There was a team working on actually.
Yeah, Terry would bring along people, and they had
that
they would cut.
garage.
And anyway, the 4 pipes with the boots. So Steve does this thing. Well, anyway, see you later. Wherever he says, women don't find you handsome, they'll find you handy. And he puts the car in gear and he drives off. And the car goes off, drives away from the camera, and it's the pipes. The weight, just immediately they punch right through the floor.
Through the foot of the shoe.
Yeah, through the sole. It's just, and then they're acting like lawn aerators, like those things.
Digging straight down as it
so
rotates.
Then they're pulling out this much soil and then flinging it in the air. So he goes all the way down. We didn't think the car was going to go more than 10 feet. He gets up to like 20 miles an hour down this thing, and it's and the thing's rattling like this, and he gets to the end, and I'm just about to yell cut. He pulls a 3-point turn, came by again, right by the camera, and we're trying not to laugh. Everybody is just, as this thing goes by, Red does a little wave. There were so often you just, okay, let's see how
genuinely
it goes.
Hilarious and unknown.
Now, if it was really serious, like one time we cut the top off a bus, a school bus, the whole back, and made it the world's biggest pickup truck. So you have the cab, and then this open at the back. That had to be done overnight. We finished shooting one day, and then 2 guys came up, 2 welders, and they were there for I don't know how late, and at some point a portable crane came along and lifted the lid off.
Big projects.
Yeah. And the stuff was welded. It was safe. It was welded properly.
Yeah.
But then you would hide that with duct tape, so it looked awful.
Well, sir,
Thanks.
it's hot as hell in here.
Yeah.
This is something I would love to continue someday, but for now, I think we need to get back to signing stuff. So.
Well, and there's music, so
not the greatest time.
I'm not going to dance with you, but my wife's here. Maybe I'll dance with her. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everyone. Rick Green.
All right, man.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
You're driving, I'll follow you.
Now, in case you guys want to hear more from Rick, there's actually about another 10 minutes of interview that I cut out for our video, but that's all going to be on the Red Green TV YouTube channel. In fact, they're doing a whole special on the Possum van itself as well, including a lot of old footage and fun stuff from the show. And alongside that, now is probably a great time to mention that those guys also came out with merch for the Possum van that you can check out on their website. And if you look real close, there's actually a Junkyard Digs logo on the side of that van, thus making this technically part of the Junkyard Digs merch collection. Once again, check this out on their website and the videos Red Green TV on YouTube. With that, we wrapped things up at Canadian Fest, had some fun with the Red Green team, and then the next morning it was back in the van to head back to Iowa.
Good morning, folks. Today you join us as I wipe the van windshield down with Rain-X because we're too lazy to remove the cowl and fix it properly. At this point, we're pretty sure the van is going to do this no problem, so we're going to zip through the return trip unless something exciting happens. But for the most part, I think we're going to have no issues and merely 450 miles to drive home. So let's get in this sucker, hit the key, and get it done. Radar says we're going to run into some pretty good rain, so it is worth taking the couple minutes that it requires to actually fix the wipers. And all we need are these guys, part number 49440 from O'Reilly's. Apparently very well known for failing since they have them in stock on the shelf. We'll slap some of these in, get that all together, and this will be fixed. Would you like to demonstrate the slapping?
Yes. I'll just do a little slappy slap. Make sure I've got it in the right spot. These are tight.
Just slap it in.
I'm just slapping it in.
Slap
clearly.
it in.
Consider this slapped.
I'm sorry. What? Ham our jam?
Could you quit distracting me? I'm trying to slap this together.
Ta-da! Give her a test. Let's see if they work. That was, yeah, slap it on. Not very easy.
Yeah. No.
Those little things are a pain in the ass to get in place. Yay! All right, let's hit the road. All right, here we go. You're gonna stay right here for 128 miles.
I think I can manage.
And then at 458, we'll be there.
Easy.
Easy. Van's still running good. We will eventually need to stop and get gas for the second time on this whole 1,000-mile trip. There's still a good bit of vibration from the rear end. You might be able to hear the drone right now. And the front end still shakes left and right. But other than that, it's no worse than it was when we started. All right, finally, time to fill this sucker up. Odometer's at 96865. We've done 352 miles on this tank. All right, she took 26 gallons, which means it's 13.5 miles per gallon. For a brick, it flies pretty good.
Big Possum, it gets good fuel mileage.
Once again, the Possum van has encountered standstill traffic.
Yes, hammering through, that's what we're doing.
Well, I don't see any leaks on the inside, but that's not to say there isn't water on it, or no water on top of the roof. Let's give her a test. Oh yeah, there's some up there.
I would say the duct tape is holding.
Sweet. 360 miles home. Not mine.
Wow.
Whoa! Well, the rain finally stopped. We are all the way in Iowa already. 164 miles remaining. How's the van? I have found the back seat to be way more comfortable than the front. Throw a pillow down, the vibration from the drive shaft and the wheels, it's like a massage chair. I mean, look at this. Alright, 2.5 hours. Let's keep the pedal down.
I don't mean to jinx us, but I think we might make it.
I don't think I've ever seen a needle that low, though.
Yeah, I can say with confidence I've never seen one touch the letter E. We're going to get a very precise measurement for exactly how much fuel this tank holds now.
What's our mileage at? 97285. We just drove all the way from Michigan to Marshalltown. Like Kalamazoo to Marshalltown on one tank. All of a tank, but one tank. All right, what's our mileage on that one?
Exactly 420 miles.
Holy shit. 31 and a half gallons.
So this is a 32-gallon tank.
Holy shit, dude.
Oh yes, we're getting 13.3 repeating
we're getting
to the gallon.
Getting worse mileage this time.
Well, we are up going against the wind.
We were before too.
Okay, well I'm the less efficient driver on this trip.
That makes no sense, but somehow. Alright, 40 miles home. Let's finish it out. Holy crap. We've done it. And the sun's still out this time.
It is. We
That
did
is
it.
not bad at all. Good job, Possum Man. Good job. Well, there you have it, folks. That right there is how you build yourself a Possum van for under $1,000. Drive it nearly 1,000 miles and get to meet Rick Green from the Red Green Show. That was a ton of fun. Thanks to the Red Green Show for inviting us. That was a blast, something I never thought I would actually get to do. And now we have a Possum van that we're going to use. Clearly some drive shaft and wheel vibrations need figured out, but we'll get to that. These things are super useful, and it's really funny, so it's hard not to drive it. In fact, I think I've got my Halloween get-up completely locked in this year. If you guys want to check out any of our merch, you can find it on junkyarddigs.com. If you'd like to check out any of the awesome merch from the Red Green Show, you can find it on redgreen.com. If my wife is watching, I'll be headed straight home after the outro. I've been on the road for 3 or 4 days now, so I apologize in advance if I might stink a little bit. As for the rest of you, thanks for watching. On behalf of myself and Angus and the whole rest of the gang here at Junkyard Digs, keep your stick on the ice.
Nice shorts.
Thank you. Quando, Omni, Flunkus, Moritati, sit down. I'm a man, but I can change if I have to, I guess.